Good evening. We have good news today. As you may recall, last week, Radio Legendary did an investigative piece, an interview, and published some video that was collected by the family of Jennifer Lawrence on August the 18th, 2017, when 4 Hill County Sheriff's officers appeared at her home in the 1100 block of Farm to Market 934 in what is known as Blum, but is actually part of the Osceola community. At any rate, they invaded her home without a warrant and against the strenuous objections of her daughter and a family friend who was visiting. And of course, those young ladies were terrified. Once they got in there, they invaded Ms. Lawrence's bedroom, and they went throughout the residence searching for a fugitive named Jimmy Garrett. Now, before they came in the house, they accused those young ladies of harboring a fugitive. Well, as it turns out, Mr. Garrett didn't show up. The first thing that we did after we finished our interview was to go to the Hill County Sheriff's Office. And that's located at the Hill County Jail. Ms. Lawrence signed a Public Information Act request for the dispatch records or incident report attached to to what had occurred at about 9 p.m. on August the 18th. Now, that is her right. The records of what constitutional officers of the state of Texas do actually belong to the people. The constitutional officers are the custodian of those records. And that's according to Section 550 of the Texas Government Code, which is part of the Texas Constitution. In the preamble of that law, it says that it's not up to the people to decide. It is not up to the officials of the state of Texas to decide what is good for the people of the state of Texas to know and not know. That it is up to them to keep accurate records and then turn them over to the people when they determine that they actually have a right to those records. In almost all cases, they do. There are only very few things that are precluded from public scrutiny, and those include juvenile records, mental commitments, medical records, reports of scientific tests, and fingerprints, such as ballistics or that sort of thing. But definitely dispatch records, emails, text messages by public officials, and of course police officers are. But at any rate, the records that were obtained shows the patrol unit numbers of the 4 officers who were dispatched there and the name of the person who reported that Mr. Garrett was suspected to be there. Curiously, though, one of the things that the dispatcher included was that Garrett would be found at the rear of the property. Now, this property includes dog kennels, and it's a rural location, and it's rather large. There's only a small part that is devoted to the residents. And the rest of it, of course, is this dog kenneling and training facility. So apparently they had been instructed to go to the rear of the property. But, it just occurs to me that if there are 4 units there, that 3 of them could stand by. One of them could go to the Justice of the Peace office. There's one in Itasca. There's one in Hillsborough, and obtain the judge's signature on an affidavit of probable cause, that they had good information from a credible and reliable witness that Garrett was there. And Had they apprehended him and he really is a fugitive, they wouldn't have needed a warrant. They could have just stood by. They didn't do that. As the evidence that Ms. Lawrence turned over to Radio Legendary shows. Now, the reason all this is significant is that any human being that lives in the state of Texas or the United States of America has a right to an expectation of privacy in their home, in their person, in their papers. They have an expectation of privacy. There is no such thing as the authority of a police officer or anyone else to just come in and search. They have to tell the location and the name of the person who is sought, or the items that are sought, and their location in the property, the building, or what is known as its curtilage, which is the area surrounding it, its outbuildings, shops, that kind of thing. Had that been specified, they'd be in the clear. But this becomes a piece of evidence. The name of the person who reported that Garrett was there, the names of the people who were there at the home, the two young ladies, Ms. Lawrence, the 4 officers, all of those people become witnesses in what's known as a subsection 1983 civil rights lawsuit. That's it's in one of the titles of United States Code, that if a person deprives anyone of their civil rights, and that can be shown to a finder of fact, well, that's tortious behavior. That's a civil wrong. That is the kind of thing that is actionable in the United States District Court, and you can seek money damages, punitive damages, exemplary damages. You can seek injunctive relief. There are many things that can be done, but at any rate, that's how simple and that's how easy it is to begin a file. And then, naturally, we have seen a lot of this type of litigation take place in surrounding counties of Texas. We're getting the job done. So for Legendary News Services and all of my many far-flung correspondents, I'm Legendary Jim, and I'm here to tell you that the floggings will continue until morale improves, and we'll keep you posted. Watch these columns for more on this subject. Adios, amigos y amigas. Hasta luego.